Hi, this is Tony Teegarden, and in the next minute I'm going to share with you how you can begin to attract high-quality, high-paying clients like the top 1% of elite coaches are doing. But first, I need to share with you some big problems that are standing in your way and keeping you from having this type of success. So the first thing is that you are running all over the place trying to find prospects to turn into clients. Between the networking, the driving, the phone calls to people who aren't necessarily great prospects or even interested, this is like herding cats. It's exhausting. And I can tell you it is probably keeping you from really being able to leverage your knowledge in a way that is most effective in the world. The next problem is that when you do actually find that you have your one-on-one clients or a handful of them, you've got to go out and begin to find more of those clients, which again begins the whole herding cats process. And so you begin spinning plates. You're spinning the plate of attempting to service the current clients you have, and then you're attempting to go out and find more of those clients. So as soon as one plate stops spinning, you've got to go back and spin the other one, and it really is exhausting. Then what happens, in order to hopefully solve that problem, you begin to copy the same tactics that you see the top 1% doing. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. But the problem there is that you don't have the same assets that they have. And there's one critical asset that is absolutely necessary that you probably don't have that I'll share with you here in just a moment. But the problem here is that all of this leaves you exhausted, overwhelmed, and underpaid. Now, let me validate this with some numbers for you.
Okay, so I wanted to share with you the 2012 ICF Global Coaching Study. This is their executive summary, and ICF is the International Coaching or International Coach Federation. And as you can see here, this survey, this executive summary, they extracted about 15,800 coaches throughout North America. This is per the population that is in North America, and you can see many of the other areas here. But let's just take a look here. The average yearly income that they state is in North America $50,400. Now this was in 2012, and the median here that you can see is actually $29,100. What this means is that there were very few people that were earning above average incomes, and there were a lot of people that were earning below average incomes. So when we take a look at this number, I believe we're not getting the full context in the report. I believe the number is on average going to be a lot less. There's probably a lot of people that were not in that study that would have majorly skewed the numbers. But the median here is really what I believe is more of a reality is 29,100 or so. Now, in Sherpa Coaching, in their 2013 executive coaching survey, as you can see here, life coaches were on average $130 per hour, down from $160 in 2012. As you can see here, the average number of clients went up from 2012 into 2013, 7.7 clients per week. And then, of course, the average earning, as you can see here from their study, they had calculated in 2012 the average was around $55,000. Again, I believe that's really, really high. But you can see here the average that they had considered in 2012 was $49,890, down actually $6,000 from the year before. Now, I want to point out something very glaringly obvious to me, but may not be necessarily to a lot of folks, is the $130 per hour. Let's talk about what this number really is. Number one is there aren't any expenses and overhead that are taken out of that concept or that idea of $130 per hour, because you're really just talking about the time spent with the individual. We're not talking about the time spent away from your business, only working in your business. So that's also only based on working 52 weeks a year. So no weeks off. That to me is really disconcerting when you break down the numbers. The time spent driving, networking, prospecting, none of that is factored into that rate. So you have to do that if you're running a real business. Otherwise, you're robbing yourself and your families inevitably. And more importantly, the learning, the education, the classes, in order to not only just be to stay on top of your game as a coach, but the learning, education, and classes that are necessary to try and copy what the 1% are doing. Buying courses and doing all this time on social media and everything else, all of that is not factored into that $130 an hour rate. So really, when you take a look at that number, how much are you really making? So when we talk about this, let's talk about what continues to happen as you decide that you're going to try and fix the problem of how much you're making and how much time you're actually spending in your business rather than.
So you tell yourself the next step that you're going to do is in order to solve these problems that you have, is that you're going to go online and find your leads. And this is because you see what the top 1% are doing. And they're, of course, you're on their newsletters, you're receiving their Facebook status updates, you're getting their tweets and all this sort of thing. But the problem is that this is doomed to fail. And the minute you decide that you're going to go ahead and start doing what they're doing and start doing the Facebook updates, the status updates, the tweets, the Pinterest accounts with the pretty pictures and positive quotes, maybe even you decide you're going to do a blog and you're going to be sharing some of your best strategies and tips around coaching and how to improve their lives, it's still doomed to fail. And the reason is you're attempting to duplicate what the 1% have that you don't. And their number one asset that they have that you do not is trust. You see, the problem with doing all of the Facebook status updates and the blog updates and all these sort of things is that it takes a long time to develop that trust. And that's okay if you're in the game for long term. But if you need to generate income now, if you need to generate interested and qualified high-paying clients today, you need to have that trust in place today. And there is a way to do this, because otherwise people don't know who you are. They may see your status updates and you may be the best at your particular field and what you do, but the problem is they just simply don't know who you are. So how can you begin to do this? Well, there is a way to generate trust right away. There's a way that you can do this in a fraction of the time, and it's the same way that the top 1% of elite coaches are doing it, and now you can too. So the number one way for you to capture leads with complete trust is to offer them something of value, and then 20% of your prospects at that point will purchase if you have something of value to offer. Now, it's got to be valuable, but here's the kicker. I guarantee you that you're not selling what it is that they want to buy. So let's go ahead and jump over to the computer so that I can show you exactly how you can do this.